So we start our Metta class. Metta means the loving kindness, loving kindness meditation. And if you learn the wisdom meditation, it is more of the mindfulness of reality, of mind and body. You learn reality of mind and body internally. Then when you are good, then you reflect externally. But in this Metta, loving kindness, it is different. It has being. We talk about loved ones, brothers, sisters, friends, or even enemies. But in our practice of wisdom meditation, we talk about elements, body elements and the mind. So loving kindness is that kindness to being. There must be some beings with mind and body alive. You can't have loving kindness to a tree. Cannot. But you could have loving kindness to your dog or cat, because they are living beings, right? So you could practice that. Now, how does the meditation comes about? During Buddha's time, and the Buddha taught various kind or methods of meditation. The 40 types are taught by the Buddha. We call it tranquility meditation or samatha, means pure tranquility meditation. But the previous meditation that you learned, there is only one type. We call it wisdom meditation, only taught by the Buddha. Now, why do we need to practice so many types of meditation? So even during Buddha's time, the Buddha taught many types of meditation to different types of monks, because in the past life they have practiced certain type of meditation, and so during the Buddha's time, the Buddha can see which type of meditation that is suitable for the monk, and after that, Buddha taught this monk, when he had reached a certain level of concentration, to go into wisdom meditation. But this loving kindness meditation is a very important subject, which the Buddha called the 4 protection meditation, and loving kindness is one of the protection meditation. So it comes under one of the 4 guardian meditation or protection meditation. So when it come about, so in the scripture, in the Dhamma book, so it was on this occasion during the Vasa. Vasa means the 3 months raining period that is practiced by the Theravada tradition that we call the Southern School. So they are practiced more. The Northern School are not so important, based important on the Vasa or the 3 months rains, the raining period. But Ceylon, Thailand, Burma, they are the Southern School, or the Theravada School. They are more concerned with the 3 months raining season. They practice that. What is this 3 months raining season? It means that during the Buddha's time, there is no these vinayas, these rules for the monks. And so lay people, there are certain lay people who approach the Buddha. They say other sects, religious sects, they practice these 3 months great retreat. Why don't the Buddha also give these rules to the monk that they cannot travel about during these 3 months to look for food, the Pindabat. During Buddha's time, they have this bat, And during the rain, not the rain, every day the monk will go out, and those who want to perform charity will give food to the monks. But the Buddha do not have these 3 months rain retreat. And so they say that during the rains, a lot of insects and all that come out. And so the monk will be killing a lot of all these insects and all these insects that's all over the place during the rains, because they have to come out from the earth to survive. They are flooded. Then the Buddha says that the monk has to go out for food. And the lay people then says that they will, for these 3 months, they will prepare food for the monks so that they do not have to go out every day for food. So in this way, the rainy season was established. And the Buddha says that during these 3 months, monks will not have to go out to look for food. The lay people will come and supply them food for the 3 months. And in that way, all those monks who stay in the forest will come back to town or to certain places where the layman has access. And in that way, the lay people have a chance to meet with those forest monks, cave monks, and learn knowledge from them in regards to the Buddha teaching or meditation. Now, so at this juncture, during the rains, this group of monks approached the Buddha and asked the Buddha for a subject of meditation, and then the Buddha will, with psychic power, look at them and choose a suitable subject for these monks to meditate for the 3 months. So therefore, this monk, having got the subject of meditation, proceed on to a certain place where they mark their rain retreat. So anywhere they go, they put some stone or they mark the trees, and so they have their vinayas, their rules. They cannot leave the place for 7 days. They must always come back within 7 days. Otherwise, they break their rain retreat. So these are the rules. The Buddha's rules for the monks, which are called vinayas. Bhikkhu vinayas. So, they haven't taken the subject, they went to look for a place. And they saw this beautiful place where there are streams and very peaceful. And so they make their markings. Say, okay, this group of monks are going to stay there for the 3 months. They are near to the place where they can find food, or the lay people can give them food, come and give them food. So they prepare their place, they clean up the place, and they plan to settle down there. Now there are these devas staying in this area. So normally, in certain areas, there are devas staying. These devas, some of them are not devas, some of them are Mettas or Yakha, demons. Some are asuras, they are demons, or some of them are earthbound devas. They are sort of, their karma is not very strong, so they are not born on the higher plane, so they're born on the human plane. So we call them the earthbound devas. So they stay on the trees, they stay in some other places around, gardens and all that. At first they thought that the monks are staying there temporarily, but the monks were meditating and under the trees, and they cannot climb up and down the trees because the monks are sitting there. They feel like their house is invaded. They feel that they are not comfortable. There are people staying on their house, their area. So what do? They plan to frighten the monks away. So middle of the night, they appear very ugly. They scream and they shout and they make weird noise. And then they appear in front of the monks when you're meditating. They appear in front, very ugly. And so, after a few days, the monks, they discuss among themselves. And they realize that the monks are seeing all these things, hearing voices, screaming at night, and they think that, okay, it is not a suitable place for our meditation, for our retreat. We go back to the temple, to the Buddha's place. So they packed their things and they went back to the Buddha's place, where the temple where Buddha stays there, and they shifted back there to stay. So the Buddha noticed that these monks all coming back, and they say, what happened? You're supposed to go somewhere for your race. Why are you back? So the monk says that they went to this lovely place, very nice place, but there are a lot of these unseen beings, those beings that are very ugly and screaming and yelling and appear in front of them. So the Buddha, with psychic powers, see the area that the monks are residing last time, and Buddha noticed that there are all these devas staying in these areas. So the Buddha asked the monk to come. The Buddha teaches the monk Metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. The Buddha says when you go to a new place, you must bring the weapon with you. The weapon is not to harm, to hurt, or to kill, but a weapon of loving kindness. So the Buddha gave this discourse to the monks and say that when you go there, you chant. You do the chanting. So this we have in the Suttas, in the Discourse, in the scripture, we call it the Metta Sutta, the Metta Discourse, or the chanting of loving kindness. So Buddha gave this discourse and asked the monk to go back and do the chanting and to practice loving kindness. So the monk took this chanting, went back to the place, and start to do the chanting, and start to practice loving kindness meditation. And the unseen beings realize that the monks are not disturbing them. The monks are using the place for meditation. And the monks are having merits. And after that, they will share the merits to those unseen beings. So in that way, they protect the monks. They protect the monks, they don't harm the monks, they don't appear, and they don't scream, they don't frighten the monks, so that the monks have a conducive place to meditate. So that is how the loving kindness meditation is mentioned in the scripture. Now, what is this loving kindness? Loving kindness and compassion, they are so close. In the Mahayanese term, in Mandarin term, they always join them together. Chu, Pi, Sin. Chu is loving kindness, Pi is compassion, and they join them. Loving kindness, compassion, heart, Sin, Chu, Pi, Sin, together. They join them together because they're very close. But they are different. When you practice meditation, there are two different ways of practice. And the achievement is also different. They are not the same. Even though they are very close, but they are different. They are not the same. What is this loving kindness? Why must we practice loving kindness? Develop or cultivate loving kindness? Why? We already practice wisdom meditation. Then why must we practice loving kindness? Loving kindness is very important for householders, for people who are with families, who have job to do, people who mix with other people, colleagues, who mix with strangers, or even enemies. They must learn how to interact harmoniously with people every day that they come to associate with, that they meet together. Even going to the market with the vegetable seller, with people selling fish or selling food item, we mix all the time with our loved ones, family members, with our parents. So we must learn how to live peacefully with people. So therefore, loving kindness is so important for us to cultivate. The first thing that we do in this loving kindness meditation is to develop kindness towards oneself, your own self. It's very important to develop kindness to your own self, to be kind to your own self. A lot of people never think about that, never think to be kind to themselves. They say, how to be kind to myself? Give myself present. How to treat myself kindly? How? So a lot of people do not understand how to be kind to themselves. Now, what is the meaning of kindness towards your own self? How to love your own self? How? To be kind to yourself means not to hurt your own self, not to harm your own self, not to make your own self unhappy or sad. That is called kindness to yourself, to make yourself happy, to make yourself peaceful. So that is being kind to yourself. Now how are you going to do that? So again, we need to develop the mindfulness. But this mindfulness is different from the mindfulness of the wisdom meditation. This mindfulness is to bring out the loving kindness. Now this is a different type of mindfulness. Awareness. Am I kind to myself? Why must I make myself unhappy? Why must I hurt myself? Now how do you make yourself unhappy? By having a lot of unhappy thoughts. When you start thinking, I'm no use lah, I'm useless lah. When you start to get angry lah, why must he do this to me lah, do that to me lah? Why can't he treat me nicely lah? Then you get moody lah, then you get depression lah. Why am I so unhappy lah? Why people don't treat me nice lah? Sometimes you say, why is my life so thorough lah, so bad lah? Why am I born like that lah? Why is my life no good lah? So when you have all these thoughts in your mind, you are not aware of this loving kindness, then you make yourself suffer for a long, long time. Because you're not aware. So you're not aware that the mind keep on thinking. So when it keep on thinking, this thought becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So very soon it becomes a habit. So every time you have unpleasant thoughts, every time you think of these thoughts that make you sad, why? Because it has become habit. Humans are very habitual creatures. We make habits all the time. We create a habit also in the way we think. So there are people who keep hurting themselves all the time. Feel very sad lah, very lonely lah. They always have a lot of remorse lah. Why must I be born? Why I born like that? They have a lot of this remorse. Why must I born so poor? Why my family never treat me good? Why my parents so poor? Why don't I born in a rich family? They have a lot of all this thinking that make them sad. And so that is hurting their own self. And they're not aware. They keep on blaming, but they do not have the wisdom. They do not understand why. They only know that people is hurting me, but they don't know why. So they blame. Sometimes they even blame God for their misery, for their unhappiness. But it comes from our own mind. Because there is no mindfulness arising with loving kindness. So if we develop this loving kindness, then the mindfulness arises, and then there is this knowing, oh, I'm hurting myself. I have no kindness to myself. So what do? You must stop hurting yourself. So you must stop thinking that way. If you think that way, you keep harming yourself. So you must stop. So how do I stop? How do I stop? By having another different types of thinking. Change your pattern of thinking. Develop loving kindness to yourself. So how do you do that? There is this way written in the scripture, the 4 basic lines where we use it to change our mind pattern. From the pattern of unhappiness, the pattern of thinking like that, we have to change the pattern to thinking positively. So how do you do that? May I be free from enmity. Now wishing yourself well. Change your mental thought. Instead of saying all the bad things about yourself in the mind. Why I born like that? Why I born ugly? Why I born so fat? Why I born so short? All the nonsense thing in your mind. The negative thing. You change into the positive thing with regard to yourself. May I be free from enmity, anger, hatred. May I be free from mental suffering. All these things are mental suffering. When you have anger, frustration, and all this arises in the mind, it arises with unpleasant feeling. And unpleasant feeling is suffering. In Pali, it is called dukkha. The first noble truth which the Buddha taught. Dukkha, unpleasant feeling, suffering. So when you have anger, you feel and see, you feel unhappy. What is this unhappiness? Unpleasant feeling. Next time you try and see. When you feel sad, when you feel lonely, when you feel hurt, when you feel angry, when you feel fear, remorse, feel and see. What type of feeling is that? Am I happy? Is it a pleasant feeling? Then you find that it is not a pleasant feeling. It is unpleasant feeling. And unpleasant feeling is suffering. Must remember that. So why make yourself suffer? You make yourself suffer by the way you think. You think of unpleasant thing. And you feel sad. Unpleasant feeling. What is this unpleasant feeling? Suffering. So who make you suffer? Your thinking make you suffer. True or not? Who make you suffer? You sit there and you think and think and think and think. Then you have a lot of suffering. Then you feel depressed. When you feel depressed means you have very strong unhappy feeling. You're very sad. Then the mind cannot control. You need to take medicine. You need to go for injection to calm your nerve. To make you drowsy so you don't think so much. Because the more you think, the more you depress, then you go crazy. Why people go crazy? Overthink. What do you mean by overthink? Unpleasant things. Problem cannot be solved. I keep thinking until it goes crazy. And all this is mind-made. Mind-made. It is made in your own mind. Mind-made. All this suffering, all this pain is mind-made. What is mind-made? From your thoughts. Unpleasant thoughts. And you're hurting yourself. You're harming yourself with unpleasant thoughts. So may I be free from mental suffering. All these thoughts that produces mental pain, mental suffering. May I be free. Wish yourself well. May I be free from them. You don't want them because they make you suffer. May I be free from physical pain or physical suffering. You do not want to be sick. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to feel so much pain. May I be free from physical pain. May I be well, peaceful. May I be happy. So to make yourself happy, remind yourself that I need to make myself happy. I need to have positive thoughts. I need to have positive thinking. The Buddha say, if you have happy thoughts in the morning, then you're happy in the morning. If you have happy thoughts in the afternoon, you're happy thoughts in the afternoon. If you have happy thoughts at night, you're happy at night. So you're happy morning, afternoon, and night. The whole day you're happy. If you have happy thoughts. Why? Because it is the thinking that makes you happy. The feeling that arises with your thinking. Learn to think positive. And in this case, the practice of loving kindness, to be kind to yourself. You learn to be kind. So whenever you are troubled, whenever you are disturbed, you just say to yourself, may I be free from enmity. May I be free from mental suffering. May I be well, peaceful, happy. Keep saying that 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. Why? Why do you need to say that? When you say that, these thoughts arises in your mind. You can't say it if there is no thoughts arises in your mind. So whenever you say there is these thoughts in your mind, then only you can say it. Because mind comes first. Mind comes first. Then comes the body action. So when you're able to say it, means the mind already saying it. So you change the thinking in your mind. And if you keep repeating the words in your mind, then it builds up metta, loving kindness in the mind. The mind is something like a computer. If you don't put input, there cannot be output. If you don't put the map of Malaysia inside your computer, no matter what you do with the computer, the Malaysia map cannot appear. Correct or not? I'm computer illiterate. I don't know anything about computer. But this I know, that if you don't put things in, it cannot come out. Correct or not? It's correct. Mind like a computer. Got to put it in. But when you put it in, it is not strong enough. It cannot come out. Because the mindfulness is not strong. Just as we practice wisdom meditation, our mindfulness is not strong. We still get angry, we still scold people. Only when mindfulness arises, no mindfulness already lah. Scold until this really getting good for me Then you realize I shouldn't have said that. The regret arises, the mindfulness arises. I'm a meditator, I shouldn't have done that. I should be mindful. Brother James say, look into the mind. Anger. Shut up, don't speak. When you're angry, don't speak. Right now. Because when there is fire inside, whatever you speak, fire comes outside. Right now. If you have kindness inside, whatever you speak, kindness comes out. Because there's kindness inside. Whatever you speak, kindness comes out. Because what comes out is what is inside. If you're happy inside, the whole world is like a rose. Like so beautiful. You look out, the whole world is so beautiful. But when you're angry, you look out, the whole world is terrible. When there's a lot of fear, you look out, you see everybody, you have fear. Look at them, you have fear. Because the inside magnifies what is outside, or superimpose what is outside. So, this method of loving kindness, in the sitting posture, we try to keep repeating the words mindfully and build up strong concentration, registered into the mind. Try to build the concentration, make the mind strong. That it will remind us every time our mind is disturbed, the mindfulness arises. Hey, you're harming yourself lah. You're hurting yourself lah. You should stop lah. May I be well, peaceful and happy. Change your thoughts. Change the pattern of the thought. Change it to not be happy, but at least it will be equanimity. At least when you think, may I be well, peaceful, happy. And say, hey, Brother James, I'm not happy lah. I say happy, but not happy lah. But then are you sad? At least you're not sad. At least from the anger, you have changed your feeling into equanimity feeling. At least you feel, okay, I'm balanced. My mind is balanced. I'm not so angry. I'm not so sad. I'm not so hurt. I'm not so disturbed. At least I'm balanced. But if you keep on practicing and concentration develops, then joy arises with loving kindness. It's a very simple method compared to wisdom meditation. Wisdom meditation is so much more difficult to practice. Loving kindness is so much easier to practice. You just have to keep on mean what you say when you say, may I be well, peaceful, happy. Just mean what you say. Do you really want yourself to be happy, to be peaceful? Mean what you say. Once you mean what you say, then you take good care of yourself. If you really want yourself to be happy, do you want to make yourself sad? No. Do you want to have so much anger? No. Because that makes you sad, unpleasant feeling. Do you really care for yourself? If you really care for yourself, then you make yourself happy. Just as you care for another person, your loved one. Do you want to make them sad? No, you make them happy. Right now, if you have kindness, your son comes back, your daughter comes back, or your wife or husband comes back. If you're kind, what do you say? You say, have you eaten or not? If not, I will prepare some food, or I'll go out and dabao some food. That is being kind. Right now. But if you're angry, cook yourself. Right now. That is unkind. You don't care. True or not? So you know the difference between caring and not caring? Care, it arises with pleasant feeling. True or not? If you care. And when you notice, even not you care, the other person care, makes you happy. If you care for the other person, then the other person care for you. That makes you happy. Right now. But if you don't care for the other person won't care for you. It's usually the case. But sometimes you may care for the other person, but he doesn't care for you. That is that case. That is that case, You have to come back to caring for yourself. When you care for other people, you must also care for yourself. That is what loving kindness meditation is all spread out equally. Care for yourself, care for your loved ones. But if you only care for your loved ones, but you don't care for yourself, what happens? Keep on working for that person you care. You iron you cook you do that for your children day and night So one day you burst out. I care for you all, but when I'm sick, nobody cares for me. There was this person who told me that he's so unhappy and depressed. Because all the life, her whole life, she just cared for the children. Cook for them, mend their shirt, go shopping. Everything is for them. For the children, for the husband. But when she is sick, nobody got time, everybody got no time. She wants to go to hospital, so nobody fetch her. She's so depressed. And she keeps saying, I do everything my whole life for you all, and nobody do anything for me. Because she never cared for her own self. So you must learn to care for your own self as well. Of course, it is very good when you sacrifice. If you do everything for other people and not for yourself, you sacrifice, you work very hard, you suffer a lot of pain just for everybody, for the loved ones. But one day you may regret because there is no happiness inside when you feel that nobody cares for you. But you learn to care for yourself so you don't expect so much caring from the outside. But once you expect a lot of caring from the outside, If you don't get the caring, you get very depressed inside. Why? Because there's no love inside. You need people to give you love. If people don't give you love, then you suffer. But if you have a lot of love inside, you don't have to depend on love outside. Because you love yourself. Then you make yourself happy. Have a time for yourself. Now I read this paper about this, I think in olden times, the Japanese ladies, they are very devoted because that is their custom, their tradition. The female must work hand and foot for the husband and the family. They even cannot sit together to eat with the husband and the male must eat first, and after that the female then eat, and she's the female, and so she has to eat. After all is finished, the leftovers. So they do that for years and years and years until the loved one passed away, or she did, or they themselves passed away. And so the first thing, when the husband died, after the funeral, what do? They go for karaoke. They sing their heart out. They are free. Now they do things for themselves. Now they enjoy. They go to karaoke. Otherwise they cannot enjoy themselves because the tradition. Tradition is like that. The ladies, the female, they are very family orientated. They can't enjoy themselves. They must work day and night for the family. But nowadays, no. Nowadays the custom also changing. Now they also enjoy themselves. So you must sort of also give yourself present. Make yourself happy. Make yourself happy. You don't always think of making other people happy, sacrifice, then you feel very depressed because you expect people to make you happy. You expect them to love you and make you happy. So if they don't, if they do not know how, because they are always receiving and they never practice loving kindness meditation, they never learn how to give. So what happened? Then you feel very unhappy, lonely and sad. So loving kindness is important. You learn to make yourself happy, right? Then you learn to make others happy, because if you make them happy, then it makes you happy. Because if the other is unhappy in the family is never happy, right? If your husband is angry, the whole family keep quiet, they not talk. No one must be happy. Or the mother is unhappy, the whole family is unhappy, because influence each other. If what happens in the family, all are affected. We call them family karma. Family karma. Then you have the village karma, town karma, country karma, world karma. Something happened in Europe is going to affect us in Kuala Lumpur. World karma. Because there's no money to buy goods from Malaysia, we all pokai. So it affects the world karma. And the most important is our family karma. If one is unhappy, finish, the whole family not happy. Right now, If one shout and scream, the whole family cannot cannot laugh already. You think the children dare to laugh? They're not laugh. They're not laugh. Everybody go to their room, close their door, and start to pray. Oh Buddha, peace in the family. Peace comes from within, not by praying, by cultivation. So we need to cultivate peace and influence the other person. If the other person keeps shouting, if you keep quiet, one day he or she will discover that the shouting doesn't work, then he also becomes very quiet and shout to talk with reason and not with shouting and screaming. So loving kindness. Today the subject is kindness towards your own self. Next week I go more into detail on loving kindness to your loved ones. Then we have loving kindness to the strangers, enemies, and the whole world, the whole universe. So we go step by step, and that is according to the scripture, in sequence, but in practice it is different. Practice, you do not need to go from do the sequence. You can go to any one of the beings for loving kindness to develop concentration, peace. So, tranquility meditation produces a lot of joy, a lot of happiness and joy. And you practice that, there are a lot of happiness within. When you practice kindness towards your loved ones, there are a lot of happiness outside your family, and probably goes beyond your family members. So any question for today on loving kindness?